In the year 1941, Mary, the daughter of a wealthy Nazi general, is asked to hold the Nazi flag to honor her father in a parade. She was an only child, very lonely at times. Nonetheless, she had a great attitude, despite her father also being away most of the time. After the parade, she is walking home, and then she hears a rumbling sound, looks up and sees it. A tank. She had never seen one before. She had only heard about them in newsreels and papers. Then she thinks, why are the tanks here now and not before? She continues to walk home in fear of something big happening.
When she arrives home, she looks out the window and sees personnel carriers and men on roofs looking for hiding people. Her question has been answered. Something big is happening, and she intends to find out what. While she is walking down the main street, intending to find out what is going on, feelings are going around in her head. She is scared because she is worried something is going to happen to her, but she is curious. She wants to find out what else is happening.
She doesn't have to walk too far to find armed men and armored trucks. She continues down the street to find 4 armed men interrogating a boy. She could not understand the whole thing, but what she did understand was that they were asking where his family was. After the men left, Mary went to ask the boy what they said, but to no avail. He was frozen in fear. Before she could ask him his name, the soldiers took the boy and hustled him into a truck with many other people. Then the trucks were off, gone. People crammed into trucks and taken away. It was almost inhuman.
She was off. She followed the truck to the outskirts of town, where a dirt road led to a forbidden place. The trucks went past a place where there was a sign that said, "Do not enter. Trespassers will be shot." But she was brave and continued anyway. When she is running down the road, she hears voices, Nazi voices. She decides to disappear in the forest and continues on. For what seems like ages, she follows the trucks, and when they arrive, she could not believe her eyes.
When she made it through the clearing, she found thousands of people behind a barbed wire fence, getting beaten, starved, and worked to death. She decides at once she must help them. Then she sees a boy, the same boy she tried to talk to in town. The same boy that was dragged off, the same boy that was all alone. She runs home as fast as she could. After about an hour of hard running, she makes it home. Although she is tired and does not stop. She quickly looks in the pantry. Without her expecting it, her maid comes in the door. Mary looks for something, and then she finds a loaf of bread and thrusts it under her coat.
When she walks out the door, she sees her father outside parading around. She finds it hard to walk with the loaf of bread, but she manages and makes it back. As soon as she arrives at the concentration camp, the boy walks over and says, "You should not be here." Mary replied by saying, "I will not leave until I give you this," and pulls out the bread and gives him some. As he is eating, other kids come along and she shares with them as well.
Once she is out of bread, she left the same way she came in. Before she could make it out the door of the gates, she ran into Nazi guards. They weren't moving, so she believed they were sleeping, or so she thought. Nobody noticed when she got back, and she went to bed. The next day, she woke up early to many loud sounds. When she looked out the door, she sees a Russian tank coming through from where the Nazi soldiers had been. Everyone in town was fleeing. All their possessions were packed with them. Before you knew it, the town was empty like a graveyard.
When she walks out the front door, she sees the Russian army penetrating all the town's defenses. Without anyone seeing her, she quickly gets out of the town. Once she is out of her state of confusion, she realizes that if the tanks had come from where she came from, then something must have happened to the concentration camp. Without another thought, she raced off to the concentration camp, only to find the gate destroyed, a little bit of barbed wire, and the whole place leveled. There was nothing alive inside. She left that day, never to return.
30 years later, Mary is living in a part of Europe. Although some time has passed, she still remembers that day, the fateful day, and the location of the concentration camp, which is now turned into a place of life. But there is still evidence of something being there. Barbed wire, fence and a few roadblocks is all that remains of a place of death, pain, and slavery. She still remembers the part of that day where she left a reminder. Not a note or a letter, just a small and lonely flower.